All right, guys, let's do this thing. Last review video before spring break. Let's do it. First of all, number one says given that 4 is a 0, find the other zeros. So that means you can put 4 in the box. And because it's a 0, your remainder should be 0 here. So I'm going to bring down the 1. 1 times 4, add them up, multiply, add them up, multiply. Boom. That leaves these as my coefficients. So I have x squared minus 2x plus 5 equals 0. And from here, you can either do, it won't factor. There's no factors of 5 that give you 2. So you can complete the square, or you can do quadratic formula. So I'm going to complete the square. Half the middle would be negative 1. Squared is positive 1. Add 1 to both sides. The right-hand side, that's negative 4. The left-hand side, you can factor like x minus 1, x minus 1. And remember, the half up there is what goes in your parentheses every time. Take the square root. You get x minus 1 is plus or minus 2i. So my final two answers are 1 plus or minus 2i. And don't forget the 4 you started with. There's all the zeros. Number 2, make a list of all the possibles. Remember, the way we do this is we do the factors of the last number, which is 1 and 3, over factors of the first number, which is 1, 2, and 4. So I'm going to put 1 and 3 over 1, 1 over 1, 3 over 1, 1 over 2, 3 over 2, and then 1 over 4, 3 over 4. Again, factors of the last over factors of the first. All right, number 3 says find all the zeros. Okay, so start off the same way. Let's make a list. So I'm going to do the factors of 27 over the factors of 2, which are 1 and 2. So factors of 27, 1 over 1, 3 over 1, 9 over 1, 27 over 1. 1 over 2, 3 over 2, 9 over 2, 27 over 2. And now you got to find one that works. I'm going to go with, well, you do this. You punch in your calculator and see where it crosses the x-axis. It should be at one of those numbers in our list. So I'm punching that in, looking at it. Looks like it's between negative 1 and negative 2. So I'm going to try negative 3 halves. 2, 3, 18, and 27. Let's see what happens here. Bring down the 2. When I multiply that, the 2's cancel, gives me negative 3, which is 0. Multiply, I get 0, 18. This time, 2 goes into 18 9 times. 9 times negative 3 is negative 27. You get a 0. That leaves 2x squared, no x's, and 18. Now, to find my other two zeros, I'm just going to solve that. So let's move the 18 over. Let's divide by 2 and take the square root. If I take the square root, I get plus or minus 3i because it's negative. And don't forget your first answer was negative 3 halves. And guys, there you have it. Number 4, determine the domain. Remember when you do domain, the denominator cannot be 0. So I'm going to say all x such that x cannot equal negative 4. That's all you got to do. Domain, the bottom, the denominator cannot equal 0. Number 5, determine just the vertical asymptotes, and intercepts. Okay, so the vertical asymptote, remember, is whatever makes the denominator 0. You need to put x equals. So I'm going to put x equals 5 and also x equals negative 7. The x-intercept is whatever makes the numerator 0, which would be negative 5. And the y-intercept, remember, cover up the x's. If I cover up the x's, that'd be a 5 on the top, a negative 5 times 7 on the bottom, which would be 5 over negative 35. So if you reduce that, that's negative 1/7. Number 6, this time horizontal asymptote and the intercept. So horizontal asymptote, remember, has the 3 rules. The one I'm looking at right now, the bigger degree is on the bottom, which means the horizontal asymptote is y equals 0. The x-intercept is whatever makes your numerator 0, which is 0. The y-intercept, remember, cover up your x's. If you do that, that will leave a 0 on the top and 1 on the bottom, which is also 0. Looking good so far. Number 7, divide. Looking at that one, you can definitely do synthetic. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a negative 2 in the box. Going with the 3, a 2, don't forget your 0, a 4, and a negative 9. And let's go. Bring down the 3, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. That's my remainder. So my quotient is going to be 3x cubed minus 4x squared plus 8x minus 12. And don't forget that 15 goes back over the x plus 2. That's good. Number 8, solve the absolute value. Remember, 2 bars, 2 answers. 2 bars, 2 answers. So moving the 14 over. First, you got to isolate the absolute value before you take it away. It's negative 9. Let's go ahead and divide by that negative 1, which makes that positive 9. So I need, what two numbers have absolute value of 9? Positive 9 and negative 9 do. So I'm doing x plus 4 is 9. X plus 4 is negative 9. Move the 4 over. Move that one over, I get 5. Move this one over, I get negative 13. If you want to check, you can plug those back in. They'll both work. Number 9. Gonna list all our stuff and then graph this thing. Let's factor first though. When I factor, I'm getting x over, factor out the x, that leaves x plus 3. The x is canceled, so what I'm really going to graph is this right here, is the 1 over x plus 3. So let's go. The vertical, whatever makes the bottom 0, which is negative 3. Horizontal, the bigger degree is on the bottom, which means y equals 0. The x-intercept, there is not 1, because you can't make 1 become a 0. The y-intercept, if you cover up the x on the bottom, that leaves 1/3. And let's graph that. So x is negative 3. There's the vertical. The horizontal is at 0. There's no x-intercept. The y-intercept is 1/3, which is like right there. I'm trying to draw it like right there, which tells me that my first curve is going to go up here. I'm going to punch it in my calculator, see where the second curve is. And the other curve is going to be down here. And then don't forget your domain and range. Domain, negative infinity to negative 3. Skips to negative 3 and goes on. Remember, the domain includes your number from your vertical. Your range is going to be negative infinity to 0, and then 0 to infinity. Remember, it includes your number from your horizontal. Number 10, one more of these things. So again, let's start off by factoring. If I factor the numerator, I'm getting x plus 3, x minus 1. Factor denominator, I'm getting x plus 3, x plus 1. So because those cancel, here's what I'm really graphing. I'm really graphing x minus 1 over x plus 1. So here we go. Vertical. Whatever makes the bottom 0, x equals negative 1. Horizontal. This time, the degree is the same. They're both degree 1, top and bottom. So I'm going to get y equals 1, leading over leading, 1 over 1. The x-intercept, what makes my numerator 0? 1 does. The y-intercept, cover up your x's. That leaves negative 1 over 1, which is negative 1. Let's graph this stuff. The vertical is at negative 1, right there. The horizontal is at y equals 1, which is right there. My x-intercept is 1. The y-intercept is negative 1, so that means my graph is going to go through those 2 points, which means it's got to be down here and cross through those two. I'm going to punch it in my calculator real quick. The other one is going to be up here. And there's 10. Number 11, find the zeros in multiplicity. This one needs to be quick and simple. I hope you heard that. Quick and simple. So 1, 0, the first 0 is negative 2. From here, it has multiplicity 2 because that's the exponent. 3 is a 0, but it has multiplicity 1, so you don't got to worry. Negative 1 is a 0, and it has multiplicity 3. That's all you got to do. Don't mess that one up. Okay, number 12, another radical equation. We're still missing these things. That's why I keep putting it on here. Okay, so I got square root of x plus 3. Move the 1 over. Now I'm squaring both sides. Remember, the whole side. The left-hand side is just x plus 3. The right-hand side is square. Multiply together, double, square. And because I have an x squared, I need to move everything over. So I'm going to move the x over there, which gives me 2x minus x, which is 1x. I'm going to move the 3 over there, which gives me minus 2 equals 0. So I'm going to factor this, x plus 2 times x minus 1, which means my two answers are negative 2 and 1 maybe. Got to check for extraneous here. If I plug in, there's no way negative 2 can work because that side can't be negative for it to work. So I know that one's out. I'm plugging in the 1. It looks great. 1 works. Awesome. Number 13. Find the vertex, axis, max min, graph. We don't have to graph if we don't want to, but let's do the first 3 parts. Find the vertex. I'm going to go negative b over 2a. So I'm going to go negative 6 over 2 times 3. Which is negative 6 over 6, which is negative 1. So my a part, my vertex, is going to be negative 1 something. The way you find the y-coordinates, you just plug that negative 1 in. So I'm going to go 3 times negative 1 squared, 6 times negative 1 plus 1. Figure out what that is. That's going to be 3 minus 6 plus 1. That's negative 2. There's my vertex. That's what you need to get the other 2 answers. B, I need my axis of symmetry. Don't forget your axis. You must put x equals, and it's your x coordinate. The axis goes right through your vertex. Part C, is it a max or a min? Because that's a positive 3 in the front, that means it opens up, which means there's a min. And the minimum value is the y-coordinate of the vertex, the negative 2. Now, if we do part D, the vertex is negative 1, negative 2. We'll put the vertex there, and it opens up. And for us right now, that's good enough. All right, 2 more. 14 and 15. 14, start off by factoring this thing right here. So I get, that's going to be x plus 3, x minus 3. Then tell what x cannot equal. X cannot be positive or negative 3 for an answer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply each term by the LCD. X plus 3, x minus 3, x plus 3, x minus 3, x plus 3, x minus 3. And what's going to happen is, watch this, what happens. They cancel. That leaves a 5 times x plus 3. By the way, well, I'll just write it out. 5 times x plus 3. The second one, the x plus 3 is canceled. That leaves a minus 3 times x minus 3. On the third one, everything cancels. It's just -2. And in one step, all the fractions are gone. So distribute here. That's a plus 9, by the way. -2. So on the left-hand side, 5x minus 3x, 15 plus 9 is 24. Move that 24 over, divide by 2, bam, -13. All right, one more, and we're done. So number 15, we're going to multiply by the conjugate of the denominator. The conjugate of 3 minus 8i, 3 plus 8i, 3 plus 8i. So denominator, those are conjugates. I'm doing FL. 3 times 3 is 9, -8i times positive 8i is -64i squared. My numerator, 5 times 3 is 15, 5 times 8 is 40i. So my numerator, 15 plus 40i. My denominator, 9 minus 64i squared. That I squared really makes that a plus 64. 9 plus 64 is 73. You can't cancel anything. That's it. All right, guys. Hope that helped. Last one before spring break. Finish strong. Make a great grade. See you tomorrow.